Oh, we're live. Oh my
Let's
God.
go. We are live. Let's go. That's just an inside joke, everyone. Everyone. Thank you all so very much for rocking with us today on this Thriving Thursday in the Women's Let's Talk About It corner, brought to you by the Mom Link. Super, super, super excited to have this conversation today because it has been a hot one. We've been talking about this all week, and we're like, you know what? Let's bring this to the corner and let's talk about it. And what best way to have a corner, this round table, as we like to be known with it, and have a new guest, Miss Portia, who, goes so well with this conversation because she's all about understanding that maybe if we took charge and inventory of our story, of our own personal story, instead of chasing every shiny coin that comes in front of us, maybe we could stay focused on one, or is it that's a double-edged sword? So what am I talking about? Today we are talking about serial entrepreneurship. With us here on the Mom Link. Can I just get a raised hand? Let's a thumbs up.
No raising hands here, but I will say it is the silent killer that is killing all the entrepreneurs around the world. We're talking about serial killer. Every city near you, killing all entrepreneurs across the world. It's called serial entrepreneurship. Watch out.
Watch out, baby. You know what? Serial entrepreneurship is like, when we hear serial, we know. Dun, dun, dun. But can it be a double-edged sword? And this is a great conversation. Again, my name is Camille, and this is Crystal below me, Portia beside me, and Mary. We really want to get into this conversation because for some people, they say that their serial entrepreneurship is what has given them that multiple streams of income. Or does it really give you that multiple streams of income? Let's talk about it. So we are going to dig deep into this conversation because all of us come from different backgrounds. We're actually located all around the world. I'm in Toronto. Portia's in Nigeria. Mary's in New Jersey. And Crystal is in Chatham. Where's Chatham? Yeah, that's in a little small place in Ontario, Canada. Yeah, we're all over. Yeah, so we all have seen being a part of a community how many times, not only maybe ourselves, but even our friends, we see them bouncing here, there, and everywhere. And some have been successful in that. But let's be real. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, ladies. How many of us, and have you seen, what has been the ramifications?
Let's jump in and talk about the definition, because this morning when we talked about it on Breakfast of Champions on Clubhouse, a social media audio app, for those who don't know, definitely check it out. And we started talking about this conversation. I think people were confused about the definition. And I want to identify serial entrepreneurship is not the same thing as multiple streams of income. So do not get me wrong. That is not what I'm saying. If you can set yourself up with some additional sources of revenue that aren't your main hustle and you got side hustles, great. I'm all for it. I encourage you to do it. What I'm talking about and where this topic comes from is where people mistake those side hustles and make them the highlight and the forefront of their main hustle. And now you just confuse the shit out of people. And now nobody knows what's your main hustle, what's your side hustle, and what is exactly that it is that you are doing. So I think it's great if you set up multiple streams of income, but you definitely need to know and be clear on what your main hustle is, and bringing that to the forefront. And I think serial entrepreneurship, for me, the definition for me is what I see happening. The Mom Link, what are we? We're a community for female entrepreneurs. And we have a community, a huge demographic of women who've just started their business, women who haven't even started their business, are still in their 9-to-5, want to launch, women who are seasoned entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs. We have a very diverse demographic of female entrepreneurs in the Mom Link community. So what I have observed, and where this is like, I see this is the silent killer to women in business and entrepreneurs, is they're constantly jumping ship to the next idea. They're constantly giving up on the reason they got into entrepreneurship in the first place. So, for example, like Portia, she owns her own book publishing company. And if Portia all of a sudden, thought, oh, I love what Mary Massey's doing, I'm going to go and be a wellness coach, and I'm going to go and start teaching Zumba, and I'm going to do all these things. And then you all of a sudden drop your own ship to jump on somebody else's ship It's like what Camille said, it's like chasing that shiny object. And I think that is the silent killer, because you're giving up on your dream. You're going to go and steer somebody else's dream and thinking that's the next best thing. And I have the hard, honest truth for everybody who is listening. You're jumping ship because you didn't want to make it work and figure it out. So now you're jumping onto another ship. And now what are you doing? You're starting from scratch. And guess what you have to do? You have to figure that out again. But now you're just starting back from square one. So anyways, that's my piece. That's why I'm super passionate. I see too many women doing this. And that's why they're not being successful in entrepreneurship.
I agree. Go ahead, Mary. Sorry.
So for me, it's about the clarity of not really understanding what you're doing, because this is what happens when you go and you see the shiny object, because I'm guilty 100% of doing this. I've been in business for almost 20 years. And in the last 20 years, I've gone through at least 8 network marketing companies. I have started 3 or 4 different businesses, that were besides that. And the one thing, though, that allowed me to finally say, okay, this is what I'm going to focus on, is having that clarity. Because without that, so there's a couple of things there, right? You can arrive at that on your own, within your own mental processes. Of course, you have conversations with yourself, you practice your mindfulness, you have that growth mindset, or you can have a mentor steering you in the right direction, or you can have a coach that will also steer you in the right direction. But I also have to caution you with that, because there's so much that goes into this. For me, serial entrepreneurship is a huge topic because of the amount of times that I've pivoted and how easily I can be distracted by things too. So understanding yourself inside and out, your personality, understanding whether or not you suffer from FOMO, like you see, like what Crystal, I think, said, or Camille, one of the two.
No,
yeah. So, you see somebody doing something, like, oh, I can do that too. Right. So that's another thing. Like, okay, ask yourself, like, why do you want to do it? Does it fulfill you? So really understanding all of these things. And then when you go into coaching, hiring the right coach, because sometimes, and this happened to me, where they have an understanding that is different from yours, and you're not setting the proper expectations, you're not on the same page, and they're not taking your personality into consideration as well. Because I'm going to say this, personality is one thing, getting out of your comfort zone is a different thing, but then having somebody trying to change you altogether is a massive no-no. So really being able to listen to what you offer, what makes you super, super passionate, and seeing how you can make all of that work together so that you actually have some clarity and you're not bouncing around from one thing to the other. However, I do have to say one more thing, is that in all of that bouncing, I've learned a lot. Okay, a lot. So sometimes you do have to do that. You do have to go through the aches and the pains and the burnout of serial entrepreneurship to finally come on the other side of that with more maturity and having learned the lessons that all of these experiences taught you. So
I love this. I love this corner, because this corner, we keep it real. We keep it raw. We're keeping it open. If you see me going to the side, it's because I'm engaging with you all in the chat. So let's talk about it, Portia. What say you?
I'm feeling like, a lot of people who struggle with this idea of serial entrepreneurship is really after instant gratification, because that's usually the thing that motivates people. There's this fear nowadays of being labeled as a beginner, which isn't a bad thing. A lot of people try to add years onto I was one of the people who did that, right? I would inflate the number of years that I was in my industry to sound like I wasn't a beginner, right? Because I felt like if I had those years attached to it, people would be more inclined to work with me. But really what was driving that was my desire for instant gratification. Like, I want to grow now. Like, I want the big whales in my publishing industry now. I want to be reaching out to these major influencers who don't have books, like, right now. But that's not how that works. And so for me, I felt like, I think it was a really great definition or a differentiator, Crystal, when you were saying, there's a difference between serial entrepreneurship and multiple streams of income. But at the end of the day, I had squirrel syndrome. I was like, I needed my next nut, like right now. And I'm like, I'm a fast twitch. I move rapidly in everything that I do. But I had made the mistake the first year and a half in my business where, no, I wasn't jumping to a different industry, but I was taking on all of these different types of ways to make money and streams of income, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, okay, let's become marketers as well. So I want to add like a marketing aspect to my book publishing because I know I need that. And let's add in video trailers. So I'm gonna bring in a video editor and have him do book trailers for my authors. And so I was jumping from one thing to another. I want to do an awards ceremony. I want to print the books. I want to ship the books out. I want to warehouse the books. How the hell am I supposed to do all of that? And I wanted it now. And that was the biggest problem. So I had to realize, Portia, those aren't your areas of expertise. You can't do all that.
Yeah.
So what I did was I outsourced it. Yes, I still, once I have an idea in my head, I can't get it out. I have to execute it. So I still brought in distribution and I was like, we will distribute books. I won't do it, but it's part of my company. I brought in printers. I said, you guys are going to do offset printing. I brought in an entire marketing agency and made them a permanent part of Mystique Rose Publishing. So now I have all of these different things that I wanted to do, but I'm not the one doing them. So I could still get the benefit of offering all of these many different services to my authors without me needing to burn myself out or kill myself, or worse yet, letting go of the major part of my business to fulfill these smaller portions. Because you can't.
Portia, that's not serial entrepreneurship. That's actually smart. That's a smart business owner. That's called pivoting. That's getting creative in your business. What I mean about serial entrepreneurship. So what you did there is genius. And hiring it out and creating your teams, like that is a true entrepreneur, a true leader, a true CEO. So I applaud you for that. What I'm talking about is if you were to have said, screw book publishing, I don't even want to do that. I'm just going to go into holistic wellness now. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to be a coach for holistic wellness. So you dropped your book publishing and now you switched baskets because you couldn't sell your book publishing thing. And now you think the problem was the wrong industry. So now I need to switch industry.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. What you did was just pivoting in your business with the seasons and with the tools that you're learning. And as you're growing, you now have new ideas. And that's genius, right?
Yeah. And I just wanted to add to that too, as well, because yes, I see a portion of a little bit of, majority of it pivoting, but I also see where you could have been distracted. And that's where the serial entrepreneurship, where I am guilty of. And it's the instant gratification part. It's when we start comparing ourselves in our industry to somebody else. And we see, we're looking at we're looking at the book cover, but we're not reading their story. So we're all of a sudden judging ourselves saying, hey, maybe we're not fast enough, or maybe this isn't for us. And then that's where we start seeing, other shiny things. The benefit that you did, Portia, is thankfully you still stayed in your industry. You were just overburning yourself out by trying to do everything. But again, you are the CEO. You even have a book on it, and you arouse yourself through your own self-awareness. You probably didn't even realize that it was a form of self-awareness and leadership. Decided that, hey, you know what? If I put my focus here, there, and everywhere, even though it's within my industry, I'm not going to get this book, the main part of what I need to service and what my passion, into play. So I see that too as well. And I can tell you right now, and I love that other part when you talked about that experience. So I was guilty when I first started my industry because I'm in a wellness, and everybody around me was either an ex-athlete, they're vegans, vegetarians, or they've been in the industry for 20 plus years. So then here comes Camille at 38, 39 years old saying, hey, let me get into wellness right now. Not an ex-athlete, not this, not that. So I started chasing around this wellness until, without even finishing what I needed to get done, because I had this own self-insecurity of my experience. And I started exactly what Mary even talked about too. Not every coach is made the same. So even in my own learnings, I was bouncing from all over the place, which was making me go, like, if you knew me 2 years ago in the terms of wellness, I would do fitness, and then I'd bounce over to do nutrition. And then maybe I needed to do this, and then maybe I need to do that. And it was always never pounding down on my main core goal, because I was chasing everything else because of my own self insecurities of my experience. But I'm going to tell you all this one thing about me. I will be straight up, and this is not a promo or anything. I'm being honest. I thought I needed to do everything by myself and figure it out myself. And when I couldn't figure out, I jumped ship. I didn't even give it a chance. I didn't even scale it. But when I started to go into arenas that were unknown, new environments, communities, the mom link, I've met women, like all of us have met through communities. And now because I've seen and I'm actually being a part of places that they want to see me even win, it's a great way for me to be redirected from that squirrel. Like there's many times I'm a FOMO person. I'm guilty of it. I'm FOMO. And now I know I phone a friend, Crystal, and Crystal will be like, put the credit card down. Why are we, or she would go to me, Camille, didn't you just do this in your wellness? How the hell are you over here now? You better get your ass back over here. And that's what I love about, and I'm not just even, I was like, let me just go one of a step further and I'll throw the mic down to anybody, but I'm even going to go to Portia. I want to write a book, but because I'm still so focused on my business, I'm still doing squirrel. So I'm being so distracted that I'm like, I'm a failure. But no, Camille, I still am focused on my one thing right now that I need to build up that income where I could go on to the next to make the next stream of income. But stop trying to do it all together at once because you're getting miscombobbled. Portia's like, girl, you sending me all this and you haven't even done the work. She told me straight up. I love that because that redirected me. She just told me, I was like, oh, this sounds so good. I was I'm like, Portia's gonna be like, I'm the man. Portia's like, girl.
I did the same with Portia. Remember, Portia, the conversation we had, like, yeah, Mary, it'd be great at writing a book. I'm like, yeah, it's just not the time yet. And that's what happens. You see the thing and you want to get there so quick, but it takes time. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You can't build that beautiful skyscraper of entrepreneurship in a weekend. It doesn't happen. It takes time. Yeah. And look at that. Another analogy that I was giving my friend Karen too is like, we were talking about her business and I said, you are the architect. Don't be the carpenter too. You know, you are the architect of your dream. So what do you need to do to make it happen? When you are going to build a home, yeah, you have your architect, you have your interior designer, you have the masons, you have the carpenter, electrician. Everybody there is an expert at their craft, right? But the person at the top always knows what's needed in order to make something happen. So I believe that through the pivoting and through the serial entrepreneurship, we do learn a lot. We do learn about all of these different things that we have to learn in order to finally arrive at that place where you're like, now, if you have it all together, like Portia did, I mean, I told you already many times that you are wise beyond your years, my dear, because for a lot of us, and that's why I focus on teaching people how to do things the right way now. Don't suffer like I suffered in all the years. You know, now we know what to do. Now we know how to strategize properly. Now we know what kind of mentorship and community and help that we need because we are not alone in this. And I believe that those of you too who are watching us, you know, let us know what your experience has been. And the time is going to be the time. You can't control the time. All you can control is your actions, the actions that you take during the time that you have. So be patient with yourself and be patient with building your dream. Have that ambition, have that focus. Don't get crazy distracted. Whenever you feel like you are getting distracted, have somebody, have an accountability, have a business bestie that's going to keep you on track and really lovingly tell you the truth and say, listen, maybe, you know, you're pivoting here and you're not supposed to be doing that. How about thinking about doing it in this way? Nobody else is going to understand that unless it's a business bestie. Your family's not going to understand. Like, oh, you're tired. Go take a nap. It's okay. You know, like they don't want you to. Yeah. So
that part.
It's super,
that
super
part,
important.
that right there. You know what, Mary Massey, I like that you keep going back to clarity. And I want to say, like, if you're a serial entrepreneur, if you've been chasing those shiny objects, you keep jumping your own ship to go to the next ship. First of all, the first thing, let's do this activity together. Everybody listening in, take that weight off of your shoulders and the guilt of, oh no, I'm a serial entrepreneur. Take it off and give it back to the world that it belongs to, because it does not belong to you. We live in a society where if you're an entrepreneur, what's encouraged? Invest in this, take this masterclass, do this, and now get this side hustle, and then get this side hustle. Then, you know, this is like the culture of entrepreneurship. We're actually encouraged to do this. But what people are not telling you, yes, and what Mary Massey you're talking about right now is the clarity piece. So I do agree. If you're somebody who knows you want to be an entrepreneur, you know you want to be a business owner, you're just a natural born entrepreneur, but you have no idea what sparks your interest and gets you fired up, that's okay. You got to discover that maybe through jumping around to different ideas. But where I caution people, and I see this in the Mom Link all the time, and it's like, it breaks my heart for people. People come into the Mom Link and they're, I don't know. I'm going to use book publishing. Sorry, Portia. I'm going to use book publishing, and drops book publishing and says, I'm going to start a community of women empowerment too. And I'm just like, you know,
They have no idea that
leverage it. I'm like, you have no idea what it takes. And like, that's going to take a long time to build that up. Instead, why not get creative and see about how you can leverage, how you can pull in women empowerment into book publishing? Maybe you're going to have a whole program just for female entrepreneurs and female coaches to book publish, to teach them how to book publish. I just think that's where I caution people. So get clarity through testing and trying out different things. But if that's not your passion and your purpose and your why, like, I'm not going to go and do anything around fitness. Let's be honest. I bought rollerblades 5 days ago. I have still to try them on.
What about the vibrator things, the stickers?
So like the clarity is so important. And I think like it is so funny. Everybody's like, we all reached out to Portia. Mary's like, I reached out to Portia. I want to be a published author as well. And Camille's like, I did too. And I'm like, oh God, I did too. But we're not ready. So I think kudos to all of us. And knowing that, and the business bestie is a huge thing, right? So if any one of you ever approached me, and I think that's huge, having somebody who knows you and says like, but are you really that passionate about nutrition? And I would, if somebody asked me, I'd say, no, but I really thought I could make money there, right? And I think that's what entrepreneurs are chasing, is where they can make the money. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody wants more money. Everybody wants to build a successful business. Everybody wants sales. There's nothing wrong with that. All I'm saying is dropping what you're doing and assuming it's the product or the business model that's not getting you sales. That's not the problem. The problem is you not doing the work. The problem is you not doing your research, putting in the time and putting in the effort. And we talked about this last week about sales, having the brain and the effort and doing the work, and don't get off course, right? Pivot when you need to, but don't jump your own ship.
Yeah.
The common denominator is definitely comparing yourself to other people. Because that's usually the driving force behind wanting to jump to something else. Because you see, especially these side hustles, like if we're zeroing in on side hustles, do you know if you sit and you scroll through reels, how many reels do you see where somebody's talking about some new side hustle that they did and how you could make this much money in just 7 days and all of this stuff? And you're like, ooh. And I like so many business owners or aspiring entrepreneurs, they have their niche, but because they saw this one reel on Instagram, how you could do drop shipping and earn like 7 figures in like a month or something like that, that they will go and try to pivot and focus on that thing. And, you know, we have to tell people, do not compare yourself to that one person that you saw, because what you don't see is all the behind the scenes stuff that's going on that they had to learn, they had to figure out to get to the 7 figures in a month, right? And that time that you're going to put in trying to learn this new side hustle, you could have been using that same time and energy in your area of expertise, in the niche that you found yourself in. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of that in these, multi-level marketing situations. The funny thing is, back when MLM first came out, they were just saying, this is a great way for you to earn money on your own time. Now it's really becoming something that they're telling people to do if they want to step into entrepreneurship. Do you want to become an entrepreneur? Sign up for our multi-level marketing situation. And it's like, hold up though. This is still a job and I still have to report to you. This isn't a situation where this is my own business and I'm making my own money and I'm my own boss. It's not.
I'll challenge you, Portia. There are some. So I think that the only way that an MLM can be successful, you actually do have to treat it like your own business.
Yes,
so those people who are looking for a quick, like you were saying, like make money in 7 days, sure, make $17 in 7 days, $1 a day. That's what you're going to make.
Yeah.
But if you want to be a successful network marketer, there's very successful people as network marketers. There's very successful people. They run it as their own business. If you look at doTERRA.
It's not a side hustle.
doTERRA,
a lot of money.
And I think that's what people make a mistake.
And I
I'm
gotta chime in on this because
go ahead.
some of you might have some experience with some network marketing companies. I have been with one steadily now for 7 years. And for a while, I was trying to run 3 at the same time, okay? because, oh, Mary, you're so good at this. You have such a great team. You know how to do social media. Let's talk to you. Let's get Mary, right? And Mary be like, oh, yeah, I'm interested. But here's the thing, though, and you're absolutely right. You have to, when you are focusing on having your network marketing business, it is your business 100%. You have to own it. You can't be doing anything else. That's the thing.
Right.
And that was my issue. That's the reason why I didn't grow. I grew fast in the beginning, but I didn't continue to make it grow because I was doing a lot of other things too. My fitness is very important to me, my clients, my nutrition clients, my web design clients, and my social media clients. So I was doing all of these things. So to me, I was looking at it as a side hustle. However, if that had been the only thing that I was doing, even now with the one network company that I still have, if I were to dedicate myself solely to that, I would be out of the stratosphere, because that's it. But Mary likes to do several things, and I'm okay with that. I've made my peace with it. I'm a freaking Gemini. Deal with it. It's okay. Like Camille says, love you people. Okay. So with network marketing, this is when you enter that space, this is where personal development kicks in. This is where you have to really learn how to sell without selling. This is how you learn how to tell stories. This is how you learn how to have a proper DMO, as they call it, a daily method of operation. And that applies to everything that you do. So the DMO comes into play from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. You live and breathe your business. It's a business. You grow it. So there is a lot of money to be made. However, if you have that quick fix mentality and you're like, I'm going to do this business because I want the money. I want the money. I want the money. It's not going to work for you. Like anything else, you can't go and open up a shop for the sake of trying to make the money when your heart's not into it. So I put in the chat that this is what I normally do with my clients is I take them to this visualization exercise so that they arrive at the place where they're like super happy and successful and they're making the money. I'm like, okay, so what are you doing? Right. It takes a lot longer than this, but that's the whole point behind it, is to arrive at that place where you are successful, where you are making the money. The thing that you're passionate about and fulfills you is also making you money. And how did you get there? What did you have to do? What did you have to learn? Who did you have to meet, et cetera, et cetera. So if you see yourself as the big person on the stage now at an MLM company, and I've spoken on stages, you guys don't even know. All right. That's one thing. Okay. So if that's what you want to do, awesome. Then you know exactly that you got to bust your butt. You got to do all the things, and you have to have the right mindset for it. It's your business. You're not just working the business. You are actually building a business.
Mary, did you see what's in the chat, ladies? This was hilarious. Hold on. What somebody put in the chat was amazing. So Jay put in the chat, you can't treat your MLM like a hobby, or you will pay for it as your hobby. And it's so true.
It's
because
fact.
part of the MLM, you got to buy product, right? To sell the product. And if you treat it like a hobby. What?
I'm sorry. I just want to say what I was saying wasn't that MLM doesn't work, right? But when we're talking about people being fast twitch, having that squirrel syndrome, like getting, chasing after that next nut, you can't do that and succeed in an MLM. It's just not possible.
So I wanted to add to that because that's what I got from that, Portia. And because in my industry, sorry, my dog's gave me some water. I got a little fly went in my throat. This is real life, people. This is life. Just love me, as I say. But that's exactly what I got from that. One cough. So for me in my industry, so many people say to me, Camille, you should get some. Go to me.
It's okay.
Are you choking on air?
Take a deep breath.
I gapped in because I'm like, and I click this, and then it's real life, and this is what we want to bring on Women's Let's Talk About It corner. Let me just get some water.
Right. Drink your water, okay?
Right, so what I wanted to say now, see, I'm clear. See, I know I should have had my water been minding my business from the get-go, but let's talk about it. But what I got from the MLM talk, what we were saying, is in my industry, in the wellness, I get approached weekly by amazing MLM people, amazing products, but it's not my passion. I do like some of them. Like I'll be honest with you. Like I still do Juice Plus, but I don't overly push it because in order for me to make Juice Plus be that big income driver for me, it is a full-time business. But the reason why, sometimes even in my industry, we see that squirrel and we'll do these little MLMs thinking that we can have it as a side hustle while we're building our business and realizing that we're buying more product than selling the product itself. is because we're trying to bring people in through a product to our wellness. But in actuality, if we're not really working at MLM, we're going to say to ourselves, oh my gosh, that was something else that we wasted. We're getting, again, distracted from our main core. And I like what Cherie said, because a lot of us are doing these side hustles without passion. Like what Mary said, we're not doing it with a passion. Keep in mind, I am very passionate about Juice Plus. I'm just saying for some of the other ones, yeah, it's because Mary's, that she does it too as well, but that's not our main source. So we're not going to put all of our attention on that, because then we're going to neglect the main part of it. And a lot of the time when people do that with their side hustle, it's because they are chasing the money and not staying grounded to their passion. They're not really, they may not even, I see some people selling waist trainers and bands, and I never see them using it themselves. You know, I never see that. Or I get approached by so many companies. This is going to do this for you. This is going to do that for your clients. But is it? And should I put my own ethics? Because I'm huge on holistic stuff. And there's a lot of stuff. Like, you know, when you're into like what Mary and I do, we research everything. And sometimes we know too much. And people don't understand that it's not that we don't dislike you or appreciate you approaching us on this. But if we get distracted and look at the money that this MLM is going to make us, it's going to distract us from our passion, which would be the one that's going to build our legacy. So I think we need to look at, even with serial entrepreneurship within your business too. When you're doing these side hustles, are they really side hustles, just like what Jay said? Or is it like hustling you down to the ground? So I love this conversation, because we're all guilty of it in some part or some aspect of life, especially when doing entrepreneurship. And I love when you said, I don't know who said it, but I know I've opened up 2 brick and mortars here in Toronto. I thought I could do that. No problem. Online. Let's go. Hello. What's a landing page? What's a landing
about that.
What is this StreamYard thing?
Foundation. That's why.
Well, exactly. So then there goes exactly.
Yeah.
So when you don't have that foundation, let me tell you something. These lessons that Mary's talking about cost me over $20,000 and almost my marriage last year. I'm going to keep it straight. My husband was 1 foot and 5 toes out the door last year, because I was chasing without a plan, without foundation. I was taking out of our savings. I was delaying my kids' activities, you know, because I had that FOMO fear that if I'm not paying this without even understanding it, I'm going to, and then me trying to even learn it. Because again, remember, some of us are still even trying to save while we're pivoting. So trying to do it ourselves. So now I'm here trying to figure out how to do a landing page from ground zero, not being smart like what Portia did and outsource it, and completely forgetting about my business. And then I see somebody else getting my business, like that book, Big Magic. And I say, hey, that was my idea. But you know what? That idea said, hey, Camille, we came to you, but you were so busy trying to figure out that landing page because of all the money that you lost, because that's what I'm thinking about. Those lessons I learned, that I neglected my business. And you know what? In turn, I lost money that way.
Yeah.
That's a double-edged sword. It sounds good when you say, oh, we can add these products and stuff to your business, because, you know, with wellness people, and you know, I'm just going to say it straight. I'm going to say it straight to you people on the streets. Everybody will quick to invest in everything else, but wellness. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I don't have time. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And you know what's crazy is all of a sudden, when God forbid, if you get sick, all of a sudden you have all this time. Why are we waiting for the peril? Why are we waiting for the house to go on fire before we have the smoke alarms? It's beyond me, but I'm not going to allow that anymore to say squirrel. And let me see if I should go over here and maybe pivot my business. And I thank my community. I thank these ladies. These are my business besties. You can have more than one besties. Portia is my twin. She is the younger twin, but she's a lot more wiser than me. So so I love, but you know, we all take our own separate passions, individual passions, and we're able to utilize it amongst ourselves and keep ourselves in line and in check to where our eyes need to be, which is the focus on what is going to build up our legacy, our passion. I'm going to throw the mic to somebody, but I just have to say that. But I like that what Cherie said.
You know what, ladies, and I think a good way, because I know we're coming to the end of this conversation, and I think one of the things we can leave with everybody who's listening in or watching the replay is one of the side effects, the negative side effects to being a serial entrepreneur is you're wasting your time, you're wasting your money. We already identified those things. you may not be in line with your purpose and what actually inspires you to be an entrepreneur. And the last thing is, I truly believe, and this is my opinion, that it contributes to imposter syndrome. It contributes to lack of confidence because you're constantly jumping ship, hoping that it's the thing, the product, or the business that's the problem. And I hate to say it, but the problem's not the product or the business. The problem is you. And I know that's harsh, honest truth, but when I think about it and put my own self in the shoes, I always knew I wanted to do something with community. And I started with Shameless Mamas, and we shared our shameless motherhood journey. It still wasn't the thing, and I could feel it in my stomach. I didn't know it was Momling. I didn't know it was building a community for female entrepreneurs. I wasn't an entrepreneur myself. I didn't know that, but I knew it was women empowerment, and I knew it was building community. Had I jump shipped and had I been a serial entrepreneur and went into wellness because I thought wellness was what was going to give me the money, if I went to become a book publisher because I thought that's what it was going to do, and I would have been starting from scratch and then had no confidence because I have no area of expertise. And even though none of us come into a field with area of expertise, when you come with passion, you actually do. And for me, it was natural. I came from the nonprofit sector of 18 years. All I did was build community and be a part of impact and support and empowerment and stuff. So it was natural. Had I gone into something totally left field, it would have played with my head and it would have brought me back and challenged me with some imposter syndrome. So I don't know what you ladies think about that, but I think it's a huge contributor.
Huge, because you know what, unfortunately our minds are led are distracted by our limits beliefs, and a lot of the thoughts that we come up with are negative before we could decipher through it. And when we are building, when we are growing, and especially when we feel intimidated, we are going to get that imposter syndrome when something, the first time out the gate doesn't work, the second time out the gate doesn't work. That's where that whole instant gratification starts coming into play too. When in actuality, we need to be the tortoise, right? We need to be the tortoise, because you know what? Slow and steady does win the race. And we're not saying that's going to take 10, 15, 20 years. But what we're saying is when you focus and you put your attention, Napoleon Hill, that's the biggest thing that he preaches, is having that definitive purpose, clarity in one thing first before you move to the next. And getting that plan, being a part of the 4 steps he has is that definitive purpose, the clarity, one, and he's huge on that, one at a time. And he has multiple streams of income. The second he says is create that plan. Just like what Mary said to me, I had no foundation. So I was just I was being like the 3 pigs, I was trying sticks, I was trying hay before I got the freaking brick, right? And then he also says, number 3, get into mastermind classes, level up. I'm a part of the Mom Link. Mom Link is greater than just networking. We level up through master classes. We level up by keeping it real with each other. It's not just about networking. Smoosh, smoosh, smoosh. Wonderful. But now I need to have individuals in my community that have that common unity to tell me, hey, Camille, it's time to level up. Here, let me show you. Let's do something collectively. Let's do something where we could elevate each other together. That's the power of unity. Right? There's power in that. Don't ever let anybody think that solopreneurship, I can be bad up by myself, is the way to be. Because trust me, we are humans. We don't go solo. We go in pairs. All right. And then the number 4 is taking that immediate action. Because if we don't take immediate action, those limiting beliefs are going to be like, well, Camille, I guess it's time to try to go on to the next. And when we start really understanding these things and hounding them down, we'll see that we have all the tools that we need within ourselves. We just need to be focused. We need to keep our eye on the prize. And we need to know that we truly believe in ourselves and we got this. We have to have that inner belief. And I love that. I think, Crystal, you talked about that. We talked about that. Even I like that you defined it, because so many people didn't understand what serial entrepreneurship is. And it really is a killer. Because we want us all to succeed. But if we keep on flying squirrel here, squirrel there, we're going to be going here, there, and everywhere and going nowhere a lot fast.
But it's a mindset thing. Everything that we do, it's all a mindset thing, a matter of having that awareness and saying, oh, well, I've been doing this for a while and it didn't work. What do I need to change? Who do I need to reach out to? That's that growth mentality and keeping that ego in check. And that's also what's going to help with the imposter syndrome, because there's 2 things there. If you don't know your subject inside and out, then of course you're valid in that thought that you are going to feel like an imposter. However, if you know your content, if you're an expert in your field, the imposter syndrome that sometimes people refer to is that just that fear of putting yourself out there, that stepping out of your comfort zone. So you have to ask yourself the question, how well do I know my topic? How well am I, how versed am I in this? Why do people come to me? Like, there's so many things that I can share with you to get you to the right mindset when it comes to that. Because once you understand that and you begin to ask yourself the questions and have a conversation with yourself, a conversation that is going to be a productive conversation, a conversation that's going to have a good outcome. Just like when we are trying to better our relationships and there's a difficult conversation that you want to have, you want to be in charge of the outcome of that conversation. So is that going to be somebody, for example, getting fired, or maybe you're breaking up with somebody, or maybe you're addressing a difficult thing in your relationship? What is the outcome that you want to have from that conversation? So instead of just going into a difficult conversation with no anchor, like, what's the resolution here? And the same applies to us. Like, okay, now I need to take a step back. This one thing didn't work. I noticed that I'm going in this direction, that direction, because so-and-so told me so, and you didn't get insulted or offended by it. Okay. So that's another thing, like ego in check, baby, right? Take a moment to say, ask yourself the questions and be honest with yourself. I don't like telling people the tough love or tough, harsh, what do they say? Like, the tough truth or whatever, the hard truth,
or
the cold, hard truth. No, I want to give you the loving truth, because if I love you and if I care about you and if I see that you're going in the wrong direction and you continue to complain about your situation, then I'm going to say something, right? Because I don't want to keep hearing that stuff either. Okay. So being able to surround yourself with that type of people also, but it all starts with you. Everything that we're talking about here, whether you want to get up early or not, you want to exercise or not, you want to start your business or not, it's all a matter of mindset and how you communicate with yourself, because that's going to drive you. So if you're like a crazy squirrel going after that nut, trust me, because that was me. It wasn't until I became self-aware and I got the coaching and then I became a coach that I finally realized Mary needs to have some clarity. Mary needs to focus. And this is what Mary is going to do. Okay. So this is why sometimes being able to go through all of these difficult things will allow us to finally, when you're ready, because it's not going to happen like this. Like, we could sit here and talk to you guys about all the things. And if you're like, okay, maybe that's me, but you don't take action on that the first action that you take is thinking differently, and everything is going to change.
I think one of the most powerful.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Portia.
I think one of the most powerful questions people need to ask themselves is, who are you? Right? Because at the end of the day, if you don't know who you are, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? What are you going to accomplish? And it's funny that question, who are you, is the opening line of my TEDx talk. It's the first chapter of my book, because it's so powerful. And understanding what your value is, what you want your legacy to be, will determine the path that you take. So if you're not asking yourself, who am I, what's my value, and what's my legacy, you're not going to be able to make the right decisions that you need to make for your business. So before you jump to that next thing, ask yourself, well, who am I, right? What's my legacy and what's my value? And does this thing align with those three answers? Having those answers for yourself empowers you before you really settle on that area of expertise. You might not have it. You might not know everything, but if you know who you are, you know what you want to be remembered for, and you know what you're worth, everything will just flow after that. So take a look at yourself and then make decisions from that space. Because I think that's the mistake that even I made when I first started my business. I didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
And I know who I am as a book coach or as an author. I don't know. All I know is, okay, I'm newly in Nigeria.
Oh, gosh. Oh, there.
Wife. And that's it.
Let's all pretend we're frozen.
I know. Let's do it. Let's all do it. Bro,
Portia's going to keep us
frozen.
I'm Rose. I'm like, I was stuck. Am I back?
Don't worry. We didn't leave you hanging. This is the Mom Link. We collaborate. No woman left behind. We all froze with you.
Yeah, we froze with you. We stayed and we froze. I love, when you talked about who you are, I love that you said that, because it goes back down to, let's go to Disney, The Lion King, Simba, know who you are. And he takes it away. Remember, Simba ran away because I don't know who I am. Akuna Matata. I'm not gonna worry about it. Let's look down deep into it. Let's get into our Disney. Come on now, people. Think about it. When he went and saw his ancestors and his dad, he's like, but I'm nothing without you. Simba, know who you are. When you know who
remember who you are.
Yeah, remember who you are. Because there you go. Because when you remember who you are, you'll remember your values. You remember what you stand up for. And that's how you create that legacy. Remember, Simba thought his legacy died with his father. But his father reminded him, remember who you are, not who I was. Remember who you are. Get that value and get back what you know is your legacy. I just have to say that when you were talking, like I got goosebumps here. And I just want, because we are winding down the room here. Yes, Danette, we froze. That's what we do here. We stick together. But when you all were talking, I just posted something on my personal Instagram 2 days ago, and it really hit me. And I just want to share it with you all. And then I want to segue into, we do have a giveaway that's going on with our Miss Portia that we're super excited about, that we want to get into, because right after this, literally right after this, in the Mom Link, we are having our LinkedIn Connect and Collab room, where we are now using this LinkedIn platform with intention. No longer are we clicking that blue buttons that says connect, saying, hi, I would like to connect with you because you look like a like-minded person. What is all of that? Are you even getting anybody from that? No. We're going to be doing some intentional connecting. So now I'm going to be like, hey, Portia, I see you in the Connect and Collab room, and I hear that you have a book publishing. I have been looking. That's how we're going to do it. Okay. So that's coming up. But I wanted to leave this one little thing here because that really hit me on what we have been talking about. I posted this, and then we're going to get into this. Hold on. Let me get right back. If you guys can, I hope that you guys can hear it.
Surround yourself with people whose eyes light up when they see you coming.
Number 1.
2, slowly is the fastest way to get to where you want to be.
That's right.
And 3, the top of one mountain is the bottom of the next, so keep climbing. Surround yourself.
So that really hit me, because you know what? It was when I started surrounding myself with people that lit up when they saw me. They weren't just trying to get from me. They weren't trying to sell me anything. They wanted to see me. They saw me. They heard me. That was value right there. When I saw I wasn't alone, when I heard and that my voice didn't matter. It allowed me to it moved over. It allowed me to realize that I don't need to be in a race. I'm in a race with nobody. You know, why am I chasing to get faster to where? Because my husband doesn't understand what I'm doing? No, I just need to be around the environment that is going to elevate me and does understand me, because when the money is here, and it is here, he will be like how he is now. Let's go away. Right. And then number 3 is let's finish what we started, and know that when we get to that top of that mountaintop, that finish line, there's a greater horizon for us. And that's how we create that multiple streams of income, because we're going to leverage. We're already up that mountaintop. We've already got up one mountain, and it's going to excite us for that next level, because we have all of the skills, all of the knowledge. We have the tribe that is our vibe with us. So the next step is going to be a lot smoother, and there's not going to be that distraction. So I just wanted to leave you all with this, because I wrote on there, all the points are spot on. But it was that number 3 that reminded me that just to stay focused. And I'm grateful for the day that I walked out of my 9 to 5 and risked it all for me. Because through that, through believing in me, action, and my community, I forever am grateful for who I'm becoming and what has been created from my dream. And that's what I want for all of us. And with that, we have an amazing, amazing giveaway from our amazing Portia, because here in our community, it's not just about connecting. It's not just about collaborating. It's about genuine support. Remember, surround yourself around people that light up when they see you come in the room. And we love each other because we bring value to each other in so many different levels. We're not here just to sell to each other. We're here to elevate. We're here to motivate. And we're here to get to the mountaintop together. Because I don't know about y'all, but I don't like to go to parties and I'll be the only one on the dance floor. I want everybody dancing with me. So with that being said, I love that Portia talked about how she starts off her book with who you are. Portia just recently, this past week, pre-launched her amazing book, the CEO author. And this is a amazing book that's going to get you through these, limiting beliefs, through these look a squirrel as opposed to let's outsource. All these different ways where you can become the CEO of your life. And what a best way for us to give back to our LinkedIn community is by giving and celebrating the joy of her own success. So how we're going to do this giveaway is we would love to hear inside the comments. We're going to pick somebody tomorrow because today we're going to give you 24 hours. Write into our comments after this live in the event section. Tell us who you are and who do you serve. Tell us about you, just who you are and who do you serve. Write it in. And then we're going to do a random one. And what this all requires is one thing: action. We can give you the giveaways. We can tell you where to go. We can give you all of the inspiration, but it requires you to take action for yourself. So take that action, fill out that in the comments. We do our Connect and Collab room starting in like 2.5 seconds, but I want you all to join in with this. Make it intentional. Write in the comments because this is an amazing book and it's free 99. And you're also going to be getting that CEO flavor. Come on now.
Camille. All right. And everybody who's listening in, jump over to LinkedIn. We're going to get started with our Mom Link Connect and Collab famous networking room. You'll still have a chance. We'll announce the giveaway. Mom Link has purchased a few books. So if you don't get this book, we purchased a few books in support of our girl, Portia, and we want to gift you with these books. So we'll give one away today. You got to follow the Mom Link business page on LinkedIn to find out when we're giving away the next book and then the next book, because we got 10 copies that we're going to be blessing 10 women with Portia's book. So join us 1:00 on LinkedIn and make sure you don't miss the networking.
Which is now 1:00, everybody. So we love you all. Go onto our comments, write who you are, who you serve. Let's get this CEO author. And then once you read that, you're going to be like, I'm ready to tell my story. Let's go and build this legacy. Love you all. Until next week, Women's Corner, let's talk about it. See ya.